Good. Oh, there's a Timothy. Hi,
Hello.
Timothy.
Hello all. Hello. Hello.
Hi. All right.
Fine. To those of you who I should have seen this morning, hi. Welcome. My apologies.
Don't worry. Not a problem.
Anyway.
Talking about before you came in, Alison and Tim, we were talking about spending Christmas alone because they thought my house looked like it was ready for Christmas.
It does actually.
And so, interestingly, there's a film that becomes the highlight of German families at Christmas time. And it's called Dinner for One, and it's an old British black and white movie about this waiter serving an aristocrat lady. No, a butler, sorry, serving an aristocrat lady. And there's nobody else on the big table, but he pretends it's full of all her favourite friends. So every time she proposes a toast, he drinks. And it's very funny because increasingly throughout the meal, he gets drunker and drunker. And this is the highlight of Christian families. They all gather the family around and say, oh, soon it'll be dinner for one. And they all gather around the video and sit down and watch this. Oops, I've got my phone.
And it's it's a British film.
Yeah. And watch this an old British black and white film called Dinner for One. And
how bizarre.
Yeah.
It's just part of every family's Christmas tradition now. So I might well film myself eating my Christmas dinner for one.
What's dinner for one?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
I see.
I just want to interject and say that I saw Hilary Davies, who used to sing with us, alto, and I had lunch with her on Friday, and she said to give everybody her love and to be remembered by everybody. So that's rather nice.
Yeah.
And she's well, which is great.
Good.
I can't place her, I'm afraid. Can you give me a clue?
About a little bit taller than me, but not much. And curly hair, silvery grey hair. Often sat next to either me or Jenny.
Hi, Joe and Sue. You need to unmute, please.
Thank you. Hi, David.
Hello, Joe. Good to see you.
Hi, how are you? All right.
A bit stressed, thank you, but otherwise I'm well. No, I must be honest. I'm very stressed.
Oh, hi, Helen.
What's stressing you out, David?
Lovely to see you. Yeah, I thought I'd join you all tonight. Say hi.
Hi.
Since my divorce and becoming ill at work, those two things affected me financially very adversely. And to make ends meet now, I rely on a couple of lodgers been in my house.
Mm.
And one of them became a lot of trouble at the weekend, and I had to evict him, which was very traumatic. The police had been round, and
God!
Oh, David,
I'm so
sorry.
Well, he refused to go. You see, so I got the police in to physically evict him. But he needed time to pack up, and during that time, I'm doing some repairs on my roof, and I was walking down the ladder with a hammer in my hand, and he was walking up the garden path, and I said, you must remember to give me the keys back. The police have said don't talk to me. You're not to talk to me. The police have said don't talk to me. And then he walked up to the top of the path, phoned the police, and said I've attacked him with a hammer.
Okay.
So they came around with a beep, all the lights blazing, and
oh my God,
had a serious talk to me. It's just been a nightmare. He owes me loads of money, and but he's gone. I've got an awful amount of work to do to sort out all the legal side of it. But there we go. It's quiet tonight, and I forget all about it.
And he's gone.
Well. Sing your heart out, then, David.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Hi, Barbara.
Hello. Hi, Barbara.
Hello.
Hi, Barbara.
So,
How's your quarantine going, Barbara?
Getting a bit fed up.
Oh.
One more week
All over then.
this time next week, yeah.
Oh, I'll give you a text. I'll text you during the week.
Yeah.
Be glad when
Yeah.
it's done, though, won't you?
I'm having cataract operation next Tuesday. So I'm having to quarantine for 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
This
Miserable,
is
isn't
my,
it?
starting my second week.
Mm.
Yeah, this is
Lord.
postponed from April.
Got to get it done.
Never mind, be really good once it's done.
I know, I know.
Barbara, was Anne North at the church when you were there?
And
Warminster Baptist? Was Anne North at Warminster Baptist when you were there? No, you didn't know her.
no.
Does anybody know how Anne Coventry is?
Oh, yeah.
No, we haven't had any up-to-date news. I think Paddy is probably the most likely one to have news of her. I will try and ask her. Well, maybe she'll be joining us tonight. She apparently forgot last week.
I have to apologise. I wasn't here last week because Christine rang me.
Yes.
And I had a lovely chat with Christine,
Good.
and she's well, and
good.
I'll see her in the probably next week now.
If I switch my power on, that would help.
Give her our love.
I will.
Yes.
We were just chatting about our families, so I forgot to say I saw everybody. Would see everybody on a Tuesday, but by the time she and I had talked for half an hour, I forgot all about you. I'm really sorry.
Oh, well.
It wasn't intentional.
Has anybody heard anything about Anne Vine? No, is it Vile? Anne Vile.
Yes, she's another one.
I've heard.
It says sold on her for sale sign.
I know
now.
it does. Yes. Sorry, Jenny, you were going to say?
No, I just was going to say I've had a couple of responses from her to emails that I've sent out generally.
Yeah.
And she said doing fine, but she didn't say anything about the house sale in them.
No, well, it as you say, Jan, it says sold. So.
But it said sold once before and she got stuck in a chain.
Yes, the chain broke, didn't it? Because she lost the bungalow she was after.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
She's had a rotten time, actually. Yeah.
She has. Yeah.
Hi, Roy.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Roy.
Good to be back.
Were you away? I know.
No, for some reason I just got missed out, I think, last week, and so I thought it wasn't on.
For some reason, he didn't get our email last week, so I don't know what happened there.
Anyway, I've caught up. I've done some practice today.
Oh,
Well
well done, you.
So the tennis will be strong.
It's amazing how much you can forget, isn't it?
Have we got a half term next
Say it
week?
again.
I see. My wife is trying to join up without actually cutting me out.
Yes. You might
She's
get
trying
you
hard to
both.
connect. We've had another round, so we're in separate rooms. We always do seem to have a round, Tuesdays.
Perhaps she doesn't like singing next to you.
Oh,
Hi,
there she is.
Rosie.
You're quite
I
right.
recognise her.
Rosie. Spot on.
It must be quite
Hi.
difficult when there are two of you singing. That
It's
is
impossible because he can do it and I can't. Yeah.
Well, it's certainly not a ménage à trois, so there's not three of us.
Thank goodness.
Do we have
Hello,
a half
David.
term next week, please?
Hello, Roy. Good to see you.
Do we have a half term next week, please? Somebody asked. Who was that?
Janie
Jane?
asked.
Yeah.
Janie.
I don't
Joe?
know. Do we want one? Like a breakthrough week?
I was planning to plow
You're gonna be-
on as
you're
the
gonna
phrase.
play,
Yay!
So I mean, there's I mean, well, I'm going straight from quarantine into lockdown, so the more week time entertainment I can get, the better, frankly.
We'll keep you entertained.
We'll join you, Tim, in that case. Thank you.
If only for my sake.
Hi, Paddy, you need to unmute, and Chris, you need to unmute as well. Oh, no, it's Alison, sorry.
Right.
Thanks, Alison. Let's just change.
Paddy, Helen was asking, have you any recent news of Anne Coventry?
Yes, I had tea and biscuits with her last week, sitting in the hall of her block of flats. She doesn't change. She lives a very quiet life. She has 3 carers a day. Her memory is pretty limited. You know, you have a conversation and then she immediately asks questions. Yeah. But and for her, life is no different. She spends it watching television. Her children, well, her 2 sons contact her on a regular basis. And interestingly, I had a call, well, one of her sons, who she vows never calls her, rang while I was there, and I had a chat with him, and it appears that she never remembers when they call her. So he assured me that he does call her and he does speak. So,
but what about Peter?
So
she's talking about.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Peter's in the care home. She never sees him. Sorry.
And Paddy, where is Anne now?
At Portway.
Anne is at home in Warwickshire. She lives at home in Warwickshire.
She's still in Portway, is she?
Yes.
Yes, she is. Yeah.
And I saw it was up for sale. Yeah.
What, Portway?
But, sorry, is Peter there as well?
It might be just one of the flats, mightn't it?
I think
I thought it was hers. Yeah.
Okay.
It looked as though it was hers.
Not that I'm aware of, and I'm sure she's not aware of it. Peter is
lucky. The family have got plans for her. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Not that. Well, she doesn't. She's managing at home, and if they're worried about money, which I suspect they are, it's cheaper to have her at home with 3 carers a day than putting her in a care home. Her husband is in a care home in Salisbury. She never sees him. Nobody ever, even before the COVID, nobody ever took her to see him except me. But well, as far as I'm aware, he's still alive. Haven't heard any different, but she knows nothing about him. So it's all a bit sad, really.
Sad.
That's really tough.
I think care home visiting is horrendous at the moment, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Stay out of care homes if you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Should we do some singing?
Yes.
Cheer ourselves up.
Hi, John and Izzy, by the way. We haven't said good evening to them. Hi.
Hello. Good evening. Good evening.
Where is he?
Lovely. So, what's the plan? We're going to do some singing. Amazingly, we're going to finish. We'll do a little bit of a warm up, and we'll sing some Vaughan Williams, which you may know. Not all of Vaughan Williams, a bit of Vaughan Williams, which you may know. And then we're going to learn the 3rd verse of Verleih Freiden. And I'm going to try a slightly new method of doing it all online. So I just want to see how that goes. And if you have any strong feelings about it, whether it's great or disastrous, feedback, always good. And then we'll finish with And He Shall Purify, just in case you thought you hadn't sung enough notes yet. Get them all in about 3 minutes flat. Good. All right. I'm just going to mute everyone and then we'll get going. There we go. Lovely. All right. Give yourselves a bit of a stretch. Up. Good. And out to the side. And down to the floor. Good. Shake your hands out. And turn to one side. And turn to the other. And if, as most of you are, doing this rehearsal sat down, just stand up. and then try and put one foot in front of the other, just slightly, and then sit down as sort of beautifully and neatly as you can, like a ballerina, so that your body, your torso, is still in the same standing position as when you're sat down. And a nice little pirouette from Janie, which I greatly appreciate. Good. And stand up once more. Good. And sit down and leave your torso floating up. Good. And find a way of keeping that, so you're not sort of forcing yourself all up here, but you just find a way of sitting comfortably so that that's becomes a new neutral. There's a tongue twister. Good. Good. And have a breathe in. And have a sigh out. Good. Big eyes for the breathe in and relaxed eyes for the breathe out. Big eyes. Good. I feel like my face is doing children's TV or something. One more time. And a sigh. Good. And have a sigh down. Good. See how long you can keep the breath support. It's easy as you sigh down to sort of go and let the voice collapse. Try and keep the breath moving through the sound even as the pitch goes down. Try it once more. Like that. And again. Good. And do a really gentle no, wrong one. Give me an owl hoot. Ooh. And a bit higher. Ooh. And 3 in a row. Ooh. Ooh. Good. And we'll do a slide up and a slide down. Ooh on the way up, an ah sigh thing on the way down. Good. And as it goes down low, you can sort of engage with the sort of deep actor bit of your voice. Not right at the top. Really gentle up until it gets right down to the bottom. And again. Good. And one more. Good. And do and down again. And a bit quicker. And down. And 5 up and 5 down. That was only 4. You got the message. Anyway, one more time. Good. If you can do that in one breath, it's very good for support because it forces the air to move through at a good speed and stops you sort of saving it. Whereas the saving is not really sort of saving anything. Good. Go. Feeling like a lot, something that my teacher was saying, put your hands in front of you like that, and on the high note, just tilt them forward like that. It sort of encourages the sound to sort of go forward and here rather than back in there. One more time with me. And one more. Okay, good. And we're going to sing along with the wonderful Roderick Williams. There's a beautiful song by Vaughan Williams called Linden Lee. It's a sort of... It's claimed to be a folk song. It's not really. It seems to have no folk song precedence, and the original text is written by a poet called William Barnes in the Devon accent. So he's written this whole poem out in like a strong, whatever it is, mid-19th century Devonshire accent. It's bizarre. Anyway, so the version that we're going to sing is Vaughan Williams' one, which is sort of nicely, politely anglicised. Good. Give me a thumbs up if you can see the text. Is that alright? Is that big enough? Good. And if you don't know the tune, it's basically ba 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 within the woodland flowery gladed by the oak tree's mossy moot. It's that over and over again. And if the high note is a bit high, just go within the woodland flowery gladed. Just tip your hands over for the high note. Good. Here we go. Can you hear this music? Bit quiet? Sounds a bit quiet to me. Let's boost it a bit. Okay, here we go.
Within the woodlands flowery gladed by the oak tree's mossy moot, the shining grass blades timber shaded now do quiver underfoot, and birds do whistle overhead, and waters bubbling in its bed. And there for me the apple tree do lean down low in Linden Lee. When leaves that lately were a-springing now do fade within the copse, and painted birds do hush their singing up upon the timber tops, and brown-leaved fruits are turning red in cloudless sunshine overhead. With fruit for me the apple tree do lean down low in Linden Lee. Let other folk make money faster in the air of dark-roomed towns. I don't dread a peevish master, though no man may heed my frowns. I be free to go abroad, or take again my homeward road, to where for me the apple tree do lean down low in Linden Lee.
Lovely. It's such an elegant little arrangement. It's also worth saying that there's sorry about the typos in that. Although in the second line, by the oak tree's mossy moot, apparently isn't a typo. Apparently it's what's in the original song. It seems to be a southwest word for root. I've never heard it except for in this song. Anyway, that's that. Good. Let's do some Verleih und Freiden. Let's do the Mendelssohn. Now, what's going to be different is that I'm working... you can't see what I'm working with. very exciting. But it's with a free music playback, editing and playback thing, which means that I can play back individual parts and pick out like the soprano and tenor to sort of play together. Anyway, to get us used to and to make each line clearer, I've given each part a different instrument. So sopranos, you are going to hear the sound of the flute. Altos, you've got a clarinet. Tenors, you've got a cello, lovely. And basses, you've got a what do you have? A bass trumpet, which is just, it's an odd choice, but it seems to work most distinctively for popping out the texture. Anyway, it's not as nice as singing with a recording, and we will sing with a recording, but this is to get, just for learning. I think it might be helpful. So, to get us used to the idea, we're going to go from bar 42, from the beginning of the second verse. So, sopranos and altos singing Verleih uns Frieden, and tenors and basses singing Verleih uns Frieden. Okay, let's see how this goes. I need to share the sound. Alrighty, one moment. Can you hang on, how to arrange this? Sorry, I'm just, it's all with suddenly it's all just gone a bit funny. Can you hear this sound? Good, that's all a bit Victorian, isn't it? Never mind. It's very clear. So we'll go from bar 42, and then to get used to the sound, and then we'll start learning the parts for verse 3. Here we go. So sopranos and altos, we're starting there. I'll give you a bar in. Sopranos and altos are there. Tenors and basses, Verleih. Here we go. Sorry, and then there's suddenly accents and it all goes a bit funny. Alright, so that's the basic idea of how it's going to sound. Alright, let's go to straight on bar 70, basses. Verleih. We'll do your part just by itself, and then we'll start building them all up. Alright, so we'll just do those first 8 bars from bar 70 to bar 77. Here we go. Verleih uns Frieden. There's your E flat. 1, 2. Good. And same thing one more time. Super. And now tenors, same bit. The basses part will be playing very quietly underneath. You're starting on a G tenors. Verleih uns Frieden. Here we go. 1, 2. No, that's still the bass part. Alright, here we go. This will work better. Here we go. There's a G tenors. 1, 2. No. 1, 2. Good. And same thing again, tenors. Here we go. Good. And now exactly the same thing, but with the alto parts. The tenors and basses are going to be playing quietly underneath, and the altos are Verleih uns frei, starting there. And you've got a clarinet, altos. Here we go. 1, 2. Good. And same thing again. Good. And sopranos, let's put you in. So, in fact, this time with everyone, because sopranos are on the tune. Let's just make sure everyone's included. Here we go. So sopranos are there, altos are there, tenors are there, basses are there. Here we go. 1, 2. Good. And one more time. And let's go back to the individual parts. Going from the bar we got to, which is bar 81, 2, 3, 81, 80, 79, 78. Basses alone. Sorry, sing some notes, Tim. Es ist doch ja. From there. And same thing again. Going on. Good. And just that second bit, basses. Der für uns könnte. 2, 3. Good. And those full 8 bars, basses. Es ist doch ja. Super. And tenors, same bit. Let's we'll put the basses quietly in the background. Es ist doch ja. It's your bit, tenors. Here we go. No, we don't. Now we do. Here we go. 1, 2. Good. Streiten. So tenors, you sort of string the 2 phrases together. Same thing again. Es ist doch ja. The tenors. 1, 2. And just for certainty, tenors, bar 82. Der für uns let's do that. 1, 2. Great. Streiten. Good. And altos. Es ist doch ja. Back to bar 78. We'll put the basses and tenors quietly in the background. Obviously, tenors and basses, if you want to sing along, no one's going to hear you. So have as much practice as you'd like. Altos. Es ist doch ja. From there. 1, 2, 3. Good. And exactly that same thing again, altos. Going on. Good. And altos. Der für uns from bar 82. 1, 2. Good. And sopranos. Careful sopranos. Your bit starts off on the tune and then does something funny at bar 82. Sopranos, es ist doch ja. 1, 2. No, forgot to put you in. There we go. Oh, one day this will be smooth. Es ist doch ja. 1, 2. But today is not that day. And again, 1, 2. Good. And just from bar 82 sopranos. Der für uns könnte streiten. There shall be flat 1, 2. Exactly the same again. 1, 2. Good. Let's go back to bar 70. Beginning of the third verse. Everyone in. And up to where we've got to. Here we go. That should all be nice and clear. I'll give you 2 bars. No, I won't. Just straight on bar 70. Sopranos, altos, tenors, basses. 1, 2. Alrighty, how are people getting on up to there? Thumbs up or thumbs down if you want to go over any bits again? Or in fact, I can't see everyone's, so just shout if you want to go over any bits again. If not, we're going to go on. Lovely. Lovely jubbly, as they say. Okay, let's go from bar 86, upbeat to bar 87. Denn du unser Gott. Basses have that, and altos imitate it when you come in, and tenors have a counter melody. Denn du unser Gott, which the sopranos imitate. Denn du unser Gott. Alright, so basses first. Here we go. Denn du unser Gott. 1, 2. Oh, Tim, get it right. 1, 2. No. Sorry. Teething. 1, 2. Good. That gets a bit funny at the end. Make sure those two. Denn du unser Gott, denn du unser Gott. Make sure it's written higher, so it has to be bigger. Those two bars, those two phrases, bases, I should say. But there's your G. 1, 2. 1, 2. Good. And that final up to a line makes much more sense in context, which we'll hear in a minute. Last thing, basses 91, 92, 93, upbeat to bar 94. 10, 2 from there. 1, 2. Super. Good. And tenors, you're up. I'm going to play it with the basses bar intro. Den du from there. Here we go. Same thing again. Good. Ignore that little pop at the end. That's just a tied note. Going on. From there. Upbeat to bar 94. 1, 2. Good. Nice, lovely scale down. One more time, tenors. 1, 2. Good. And unison on the last line. Lovely. All right, altos, you're up. Put the tenors and basses in the background. Add in the altos. You're copying what the basses do, so you're starting. Denn du unser Gott. We're going to start from the basses entry, so wait for the basses and the tenors, then you're in. It's a nice little line, that. Same thing again. Good. The only one to watch there, altos, is upbeat to bar 94. Denn du. Make sure you go down a whole fifth from Gott, unser Gott. Denn du. You're below the tenors there, so it might feel a bit further than you think. All right. Soprano, same thing again. We're going to go from the basses entry, and then you're doing what the tenors did. Denn du unser Gott. Here we go. Correspondingly shorter because you just have less to do. Straight on your entry, soprano. 10, 2, 1, 2. Good. And the one bit of phrasing I want to make sure you're putting in bar 94, make sure you crescendo all the way through bar 94 and 95. Ten to a line. That goes for all the parts. Sopranos, you have it most obviously because you're at the top, but that goes for all the parts. All right, let's put you all back to normal volume. And then we'll go from upbeat to bar 87. Basses, then tenors, then altos and sopranos. Denn du unser Gott. Ready? 1, 2. Lovely. Any bits of that people want to hear again? Or are people happy? Shout out if so. If not, then I think actually that's a good time to take a little break. Just let that settle. We'll take a break in little breakout rooms if that's all right, Jenny. Then we'll come back and then we'll sing it properly with the recording and not the sort of the MIDI quacking in the background. Anyway. Thanks for putting up with my teething problems and that. Let's take a 7-minute break and we'll come back just before 1:15. Lovely. Hello. Hello. My assigned break team. How are you, Jan? You right?
We're all surviving. About the sum of it.
Yeah, isn't it? It's I think in the circumstances, surviving is pretty good.
Have you finished your quarantine?
No, we were meant to be finishing it on Monday, but then we go into lockdown, so then it's sort of only finishing it in a very, very loose sense of the word. Anyway, but we're 8 days in of 14, so we're getting there. Yeah, it's a bit of a drag, but you know.
You're back in Wales.
I am back in Wales, yes.
So you are back in Wales.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if we were still in Austria, I'm not sure we'd go back, to be honest. Just buy a tent and just go camp out somewhere in the Greenbelt in Vienna. Oh, God.
Yes, my friends had hired a holiday cottage next week in, I think it's somewhere near St David. Salva, is it? It's a pretty little cove.
Salva? Yeah, very nice.
Cardigan way.
Fine.
Yeah,
and sadly they had to cancel because you won't let us in.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
They're supposed to let you in if you're not coming from sort of Manchester or Liverpool or somewhere like, or Essex. It's theoretically.
these people are from Wiltshire, so they could have gone.
Yeah,
Is it
because we're very low risk here, touch wood.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good.
And may it stay that way.
Yeah.
It's I mean, you can certainly see the logic, for all that it's irritating and frustrating, at least everyone's in the same position and you can see the logic, and hopefully it helps things longer term, and it means that we don't have to do something similar over Christmas. So, but yeah, I think if you're locking down for 3 or 4 months, then everyone sort of shrugs and goes, "Okay, that's just wild." But if you happen to have a holiday in the 2 weeks where the fire break falls, then yeah, it just feels really aggravating and unlucky. Cheers, Martin.
I think it really starts to bite in winter when we have the dark evenings. All the while it was summer and the weather was absolutely glorious in the last lockdown. Nobody really minded. You go out in the garden and lie in the deck chair and gin and tonic and put your feet up, and it's not half bad. But now it's quite bad. Apart from Tuesday night when we have choir, I get a bit depressed. That normally in the evenings I find somewhere to go, and I can't now. I just have to.
It was lovely on the golf course this morning.
Golf course is good. I can't do it in the evening then.
Oh, well, you can practice putting on your sitting room floor.
Or just, break in. Which may not go down so well with the authorities, but hey.
Yes.
Sorry, Tim, I didn't catch earlier on. You are back in Wales now, are you?
That's right, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Got back about a week ago.
So just after our last practice.
Just before we got back.
You were in Wales last week too, were you?
Yeah, we were. Right. We had arrived back, but we'd arrived back sort of 12 hours before or something. We were the night before, late the night before, whenever that was. Yeah.
And the concert went well.
It went really well. Yeah, it went really well.
Yeah, good.
The some nice reviews, and it was just nice to hear the piece. It's one of these things.
Are we going to sing it one day? It's
unlikely. It's got some fiddly corners, which the orchestra got round. The Sunday was a bit. I think they got thrown a bit by the 5/8 section. I think something just went a bit off on Sunday, but I've no idea what. Anyway, but it's one of these pieces.
Where were you?
It's one of these pieces
where
because
were you performing?
it's. Oh, I wasn't performing. I was there. No, but it was being performed.
No, where was it being performed?
It was being performed in the Concerthaus. So one of the big halls. And even with reduced capacity, I think there were 1,000 people there for each performance.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So is this Venice or
Vienna?
Sorry, I mean Vienna.
Yeah.
Where you were, right. But you were somewhere else before that.
Yeah, that was at Carline's parents' house. That was just to stay over so that we could be out.
See. There wasn't a concert.
There wasn't a concert. That was no. It's unfortunately it's a sort of piece which is. It was written very specifically for that occasion, and it was designed with that concert hall and that orchestra in mind, and it's got about 6 different horn parts because later in the concert they were performing some Strauss Heldenleben, which has 8 horn parts, so they had loads of horns going spare, as it were. But you can't just give that piece to another orchestra and say, do you want to play this as a concert opener? Because most of them, they're like, no, of course not. Because how how do you get the harp to the back of the hall, and where do you put the violins, and why do we need to hire 8 more horns? And it's just a totally it's a very specific piece anyway. So it's especially nice to hear it performed, because if it wasn't going to be performed in that concert by that orchestra, it might not have got picked up again very easily. So yeah. Anyway,
well, I hope the first performance for the next work will be in it's sung by the Athenaeum Singers. In the Minster.
It's I mean, certainly after spending 5 months writing for the orchestra, Caroline was like, no, I'm done. I'm writing for choirs from now on. I'm writing for choirs and smaller groups that I know. So anyway, it's not impossible. Not impossible.
Well, we have given the first performance before.
Oh, more than once.
Of the I don't think you can give the first performance more than once.
No, more than one first performance.
I'm trying to think I can think of Requiem for an Angel. What was the other one, Jan?
Edwards. You were thinking, sorry,
Edwards one.
Yeah. Edwards thing.
Edwards.
I can't remember what it was called.
Of course, I forgot that one.
I think we need to get. I think we need to get back. I'm just going to head back to the main room and see who else is back there. But do carry on for just now. Hello, Sue. You're so obedient. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Good. Here comes everyone. Here comes the gang. Good. Lovely. I think that's... Is that everyone back? Nearly. Who are we still waiting on? We're missing Martin, and I think that's... Is that everyone? I'm going to assume that it is. Fine. Alright. Let's... What should we do? Let's do the third verse of Verleih Freiden, but with the properly with the recording, and then we'll do the whole thing again, and then we'll do some Handel to finish. All right, here we. No, that's not. Get it right. Mute all. Lovely. All right, so you're going to get the end of verse 2 and join in for verse 3. Your starting notes are sopranos, you're on an E flat, altos, you're on a B flat, tenors, you're on a G, and basses, you're also on an E flat. Here we go. Oh, you can't hear that, can you? No, of course you can't, because I forgot to share it. That would be why.
Is that bar 70?
Yeah, we're going to go from a few bars before. We're going to go from bar 63. From bar 63. So you're just going to get a bit of introduction to help to sort of set the mood, as it were.
Thank you.
Here we go. Thank you. How did that go? Shout if there's any bits of verse 3 you want to check, and if not, we're just going to do the whole thing from the beginning. Speak now, or forever hold your peace. Oh, you're so wonderful. I'm going to take that as meaning that you're all perfect. Good. From the beginning. Here we go. Good. Well, for those of you who didn't know it before, I'm glad you do, because it's a thing worth knowing. Grab your messiahs and let's do a couple of canters through and teach our Purify, and then we'll be done. Good. We're singing along to the 16 because... Why not? Because they're great. Because they're great. All right. Well, all the sopranos seem to have their copies, which gives everyone else a couple of days to get theirs. Here we go. In fact, this would be fun. I'm going to give you the play out for Here's Like a Refiner's Fire from the previous aria, because that's going to be great. And then it's straight into Teach or Purify.
When he had the earth, for he is like a refiner's fire. For he is like a refiner's
Let's do that straight again. One thing I'm going to advise you to do, the and. It's so easy to make that a sort of choral hiccup. And he. Sing it as long as possible, and that goes for all the quavers. And he shall purify. The more you give those length, the easier you'll find the semiquavers. I promise. Long upbeats, long quavers. Here we go. Straight in. Papa.
He shall
was sight reading the alto part that time. It's quite hard. Messiah's really hard if you don't know it. Oh my god. Anyway, that's all from me. Thank you so much for coming along. It's lovely to see you all, as always. If you'd like to take a half term next week, then we won't see you next week. But if you don't, then, well, I'm going to be here and I'll have something planned. Don't know what, but something. Had some suggestions for repertoire. Keep sending them in because we're not starting Christmas repertoire for a while. So if you have stuff to do, stuff you want to do, send it to me. That's it.
Thank you, Tim.
Well done, Tim. Very good.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye,
Nice to
everybody.
see everyone.
Everybody,
Bye.
take care.
And you. Bye.
Night, night, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Right. Good night, all.
Night.
Most enjoyable, Tim. Most enjoyable.
Good.
Yes, it was.
Really
Good.
great.
Glad so. Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night.